What's the most insane thing your DM has done? Let us know all about the crazy stuff down below. Have you ever seen the Senator Armstrong boss fight from Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance? Great boss fight, highly recommend it. Our DM recreated it for one of our campaigns. He made the gimmick tiny wizards who could autocast weakened versions of spells, like a weaker healing spell or a fireball that was closer to a lighter in fierceness, and even created nanomachines, son! Our DM is a machinist, and milled a pair of D6s out of brass, good-sized ones too, maybe 1.25 inches. One of the players had a weapon that did 2d6 damage, and every session he'd ask, "What exactly is 2d6 damage?" at least twice for 2 years. One day, the DM got tired of it. He brought his brass D6s, and when the player asked again, he winged them at him and said, "That!" The player got mad, the DM looked smug, a verbal fight broke out, and the session ended right there. The campaign was never picked up again. The craziest thing he ever did was create such a mindfuck of a one-shot that all of us were paranoid it was a false Hydra fight. It started as a simple assassination mission. Suddenly, the whole one-shot goes freakishly smoothly. The boss dies in one hit, we get tons of rewards, and all the villagers are no longer crazy cult members. They're freed from the cult leader's brainwashing. So, we head back, and suddenly our companions start dying, gaining inexplicable wounds. They just vanish. Suddenly, no one remembers they were ever there. Then we started getting the wounds, and let me tell you, I started to get really nervous at that point, and I hated the DM for a week after that. He found it through a friend's recommendation, and later I did basically the same through him. The original authors also have a variety of other one-shots that are quite well made. I ran the Vineyard one for a birthday once, and it was great as well. I, as the DM, had my party fight a giant 350-foot-tall arcane robot construct, a warforged colossus powered by wizards inside. The robot's insides were all explorable, multi-level chest, head, and basically hallways for arms and legs. This was happening during a city invasion, rebellion versus the big bad evil guy's army. One of the party members cast Wall of Force as the robot was running forward with its head blown off. It ended up toppling over and crushing that PC and one other. We still talk about how awesome that fight and those deaths were. There were also flying ships, tank-like vehicles, and 2 dragons. The fight lasted 3 4-hour sessions. My brain hurt after those. A lot to control. My DM made a dungeon based on the beginning of solo leveling. The unlucky part? None of us had seen it before, me neither. Our healer NPC died and it ended up pretty much like in the show. Everybody ran out except one of us. She died instantly. Still the only thing our DM truly messed up. Killed a player outright with 0 death saves because the character wouldn't go to prison, thus ruining the DM's prison break plotline that was never mentioned, set up, or hinted at before in or out of game. He had a lot of other questionable decisions, like TPKing a party of 5 level 3 characters with an adult black dragon. I rolled on a random chart. You can't be upset. In session 8, mind you. He also liked to force any and every female PC to put up with horrific verbal abuse from NPCs we wouldn't even have engaged with. Honestly, I base whether a DM is good or not by what I experienced at that table. Our DM dropped a tactical nuke. On us. At our request. The longer explanation is that a demon portal opened in the center of the magical capital of the world. We held them back for evacuation efforts to finish, but we couldn't win. There were just too many. So we sent out a broken arrow message. We managed to get just enough distance to barely survive. The city was shaken, and internal security clamped down hard. It was awesome. During the mid-session break, the DM decided to smoke some weed to get more in character for an NPC we were meeting, but then he couldn't stop giggling and couldn't take anything seriously. We were pretty pissed at the time, but now it's just a funny story. This was 7 years ago, and we've played several campaigns since. I'm the DM. For me, it was normal. but my players still say it was insane. Here's some context. I do side stories, mini campaigns of 10 sessions max, to tell lore with the players involved. For example, they learn the legend of the 7 samurai, and then we play that last stand, with the players as the samurai or the enemies. They advanced far in the main campaign, level 15 at this point, mourning the death of their patron who cared for them since level 1. The big bad evil guy killed him at level 14. After his death, a huge mystery unfolded. I said nothing, but they noticed the town doing dangerous things, going into enemy territory to recover his necklace, writing weird runes, becoming refugees as the big bad burned their town. The players asked a lot of questions and ended up freeing a lich and making a deal with him, but never asked why or how he was imprisoned so deep. Side story time! The players became legendary runic dwarves of a faction that helped win a war centuries ago. These dwarves hid their names to gain power. Full epic level 20 stuff with extra flavor. They went to war in the same region the players now play in. The mission was to stop a key bearer who opened a huge portal for the abyss. They fought hordes, killed dozens, confronted the key bearer, the lich they freed, and defeated him. The lich reversed a ritual, started killing the dwarves by revealing their true names, until he named the leader. It was their patron, and the party gave their names to save him and defeat the lich. They all died, but the patron. Some players cried again. When we went back to the regular campaign, they were even angrier at the big bad evil guy. Even in the final battle at level 16, they all cried, finally getting catharsis from avenging their patron and town. That's a good setup. The most insane thing I ever did was pitting my Edge Runner crew against a modified Cyber Tiger. It was armored, heavily augmented, and had a grenade launcher mounted on its back. Now, for extra fun, I gave them the optional mission to capture it alive with less than optimal weapons. Fun times! This is pretty mild, but it was so annoying that I have to share. My old DM, a friend I've since cut ties with, was obsessed with skill checks and made us roll for all sorts of random stuff. My new DM is starting to do the same, so I plan to talk to him about it. Anyway, the party and I were crossing a rope bridge over a river. DM asked for athletics or acrobatics checks. I wasn't good at either. Everyone else passed, but I failed. When you picture a rope bridge with wooden planks, you imagine it has a railing, right? This one did, yet I still failed and fell into the river, right where a hydra was, and I almost died. Thankfully, the others got me out and we ran away. It was so incredibly stupid, and now I firmly believe not everything needs to be a check. If there's no chance of failure, like walking or looking at something right in front of you, you shouldn't need to roll. So I'm still kind of salty about it. It was the dumbest thing a DM ever made me roll for. My DM once added a bad luck curse that caused unnecessary skill checks. My character got afflicted, and the idea was that every time you rolled a 1 on a skill check while cursed, you got a counter that would be relevant later in the game. I ended up rolling like 12 nat 1s on skill checks in that session, and another 6 or so in combat. The DM was panicking because he didn't expect anyone's counter to get that high that quickly, and hadn't solidified his idea of what would really happen. I was salty at the time, but in hindsight, it was hilarious. Only time I've been okay with skill checks for things like walking downstairs or eating dinner. You eat the tomato soup. Oh, you nat 1, you burned yourself, you just threw the bowl on your face. My very first DM was absolutely batshit crazy. He ran the Icespire Peak adventure with all first-time players, including me. He rolled for the location of the White Dragon without telling us. We were just doing weird stuff in town, and suddenly, boom, there's a white dragon using its breath weapon on tens of villagers and on us. 3 PCs were knocked down, 2 died, all for no reason other than the DM wanting to show off. Since then, I have been exclusively behind the DM screen. My DM once tried to make my wizard solo a boss to save his kidnapped sister. Problem was, I was a support wizard, and this was right after another boss fight, so I wasn't even fully rested. My only damaging spells were Shocking Grasp and Ray of Frost, plus a wand of magic missiles with 1 charge left. The boss was immune to cold damage, and my objective was behind a teleport-proof force cage, so I couldn't even cheese it. The boss just spammed fireballs until I had to dimension door away. 2 other players in the same game. A few days later, after they desecrated a god's temple, an overpowered angel was summoned to kill them. One player had made a deal with the DM to trade a subclass feature for the 2014 Zealot Barbarian Warrior of the Gods feature, so he could always be brought back for free as long as his soul was intact. He hadn't used this feature yet, and the angel's weapon destroyed his soul. To be honest, I can't exactly say desecrating the temple was a smart idea, but this was disproportionate retribution. He killed my character at the peak of his personal arc and then scrambled to shoehorn him back into the story. Let's just say, it was supposed to be the final fight for my character, but it was just a straight kill. No mitigation, no capture, no deviation to attack other party members. Then the others ran, and there was some deus ex machina to basically give my character another shot. It totally messed up the end of the story and cheapened it massively. It really killed my passion for playing for a long time. You know, as a DM, I've done a few crazy things. Swapping character sheets between my players, starting a session inside the belly of a giant false hydra, turning a player into a loaf of bread, and having the party go back in time to fight themselves without realizing it. But in my opinion, the most insane was conspiring with one of the players from Session 0 to backstab and try to kill the rest of the group. My DM misread the name of a potion and just went with his hallucination instead of the actual effect. My character drank an unidentified potion, Love Tonic Viagra, and the DM had my guy commit necrophilia on the corpse of the dragon we'd just slain. That's a can of worms I don't even want to get into right now. I once had a DM who based their campaign on a fantasy book they read in high school. It worked alright, though there were some frustrating elements like a totally overpowered villain who could permanently charm you gradually if you failed a high DC, which they calculated wrong. Level 4 is facing DCs over 20. But the worst idea was a curse effect, sort of like Madness from Call of Cthulhu, that they never explained or gave us a way to remove. It was a touch curse. Touch another PC as your character is scrambling to figure out why they're hallucinating, make a save, gain a level of curse. Suffice to say, in an authoritarian state where magic is punishable by death, our young characters couldn't really risk going, "Ah shit, I bumped into X on accident. They got it now." In one session, we basically started a riot because a parent, random NPC, or someone else had made even partial contact with our cursed characters. Bam! Cursed. We drove almost the entire town insane as the curse spread like a poorly thought out virus, and we couldn't really stop it at level 1. So we rolled with it, made the best of it, and the DM's overpowered Council of Shady Elders somehow swept it all under the rug. The campaign was alright, but that DM did a lot of unnecessary, insanely high difficulty stuff on the regular. None of us really agreed to any of it, but except for me and my sibling, nobody really had the inclination to question it. Bro Invisible walled us just to watch a cutscene of a king quest giver getting killed to kick off the campaign. Talk about immediately underwhelming player agency right from the start. Full-on video game vibes. We were all just watching as he described this king we barely knew being brutally murdered by some anime-ass badass villain. We all looked at each other like, "I thought this was D&D, not some video game cutscene where we suddenly can't use our weapons." Like, I know Wall of Force exists, but just kill the guy in a way that doesn't immediately undermine our agency in the scene. Leveled us up 11 levels because he misunderstood the rules. Wasn't the only crazy thing he did, but that was the most extreme one. To be honest, I'm not sure what to even consider the most insane. It might have been fighting a CR-26 god with CR-17 minions at level 13, or maybe the time we faced 10 Vecnas as a warm-up before the actual final boss. Ugh. claimed he was going to Ukraine to fight the Russians. Oh my god. Wait a minute. He just claimed it? Did he not go? Did he go? What? We need more elaboration on that last one. Come on, guys. Hey everybody, Brian Von VA checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell, and let us know in the comments below what's the most insane thing your DM has ever done. We got some really good ones, and I really want some more. That said, if you want to support the channel, make sure to join our membership program. You get early access to videos, and you get our eternal gratitude as the lights keep staying on. We love you all. Be safe, happy, and healthy. Toodaloo for now.